Welcome back to Hooked on Cooking. I changed the whole name of the show because of Heidi Hamilton. There's no more welcome back to a skinny chef, anything like that. And today I'm cooking with a very special guest who is going to make a German dish for us. And our guest today is, come on into the kitchen, Cathy Bauer. And what are you cooking for us today, Cathy?
I'm making spätzle, my husband's grandmother's recipe.
Awesome. And we like original recipes on this show. There's no doubt about it. So, what do we do first?
Wash our hands.
We wash our hands. Very good. Oops.
Go ahead.
We always wash our hands, and on my show, we always wear an apron. And I forgot my apron at the last chef's house I was at, so Cathy Bauer was kind enough to give me an apron to wear today. And we look like twins.
Yep.
Sort of. Only it's about 10 years difference. Okay, never mind.
Whatever. All right, who's counting?
Okay, right.
Okay, well this is Mama Weber's cheese spätzle recipe, and basically it's just little noodles. The only special equipment that you need is a spätzle maker, and that's what this is. There are different kinds, and this is the kind that Dave's grandma bought for me.
Is this as old as Grandma?
Nope.
Nope.
This was new probably 20 years ago. Oh yeah, you can still get them.
Okay.
This was made in Austria. I got it at the Continental Imports, which I know is not there anymore, but I'm sure you can find it at just about any good cooking store.
Wait, I have to show this now. Is this an old recipe book?
This is actually my original recipe book.
Really? Look at that.
Cathy's Kitchen.
Cathy cooks a lot.
Well, I had a lot of loose recipes, and it was kind of a pain, and so my daughter and I typed these up years ago, and then we gave them away for gifts.
See, and this book is going to end up in 100 years from now, this book is going to be famous.
Oh, yeah.
That's what happens.
Well, now that I'm on this show.
Of course.
Definitely.
Of course.
Okay. Well, there's not much to the recipe. We start out with 5 cups of flour.
Okay.
And let's see. I actually measure.
Oh no, we've got a measuring cook.
Dave's grandma didn't actually measure, and so what I did is I had her start it, and I took everything out of the bowl and measured it.
And why is that?
Well, I guess a lot of people, older cooks, maybe just mixed things up to the right consistency or whatever, but for me, no, I wasn't going to have that, so I needed to measure it.
Okay, you want to make sure that you've got the exact recipe.
Definitely.
Right. Okay, that makes sense.
So what you do is put your 5 cups of flour in, and then you make a well in the middle.
Okay.
Okay? Then I'll have you add 5 eggs.
5 eggs, and we know how good I am at cracking eggs.
Into the well.
Yeah, I do the one-handed egg
the
crack.
garbage.
But the problem is sometimes I get shells in there.
Well, that's like a little extra protein.
Well, I think you can help me out here. It'll go faster.
Sure.
See? Oh, look at that. She's as good as I am. Woo! I'm sorry, I'm making a mess.
That's all right.
And this is the last one, right?
Right.
There
that's
we
5.
go. That's 5 eggs. As the show progresses, I get better at cracking eggs.
And then we need half a teaspoon of salt.
Okay. Want me to handle that?
Please.
Half a teaspoon of salt. And you measure everything.
I do.
Whoops,
That's
I went
fine.
over.
Good. With salt, that's fine.
Okay, good.
And then we add 2 cups of water, but we add it not all at once because it'll just not mix as well. You could start with 1 cup.
Okay.
And then start mixing that. And you just really aren't supposed to over-mix this, so you just mix it until it comes together.
Does it get lumpy or anything like that?
It smooths out, and it'll turn just a light shade of yellow because of all the eggs, but you just don't want any of the flour showing anymore.
Okay, so this is basically, what we're making is a noodle dough.
It is.
Can you make, I know with spaghetti noodles and stuff, you use that semolina flour?
Oh yeah,
like that?
I just use regular flour. That's probably what the Italians do.
Yeah.
The Germans just use flour.
They do, okay. The Germans are less picky.
That's right. Well, I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far.
I know a few Germans.
They have to measure it. Their houses are always very clean.
And then it's going to be a little bit of a sticky dough, and that's fine. Don't be thrown off by that.
Okay. When I was cooking with Robert and we made Italian biscotti. We mixed it with our hands.
Oh, well, that would be fun. You could do that, but
Oh,
this
no.
would be a little messy, and
Yeah,
you'd probably have to clean your ring afterwards.
You know what? This is tough on my arm. Here,
Yeah.
you take
Okay,
over.
you want to start cutting the onion.
Okay.
The other
sounds
thing
good.
that
We'll
we
switch
do
places.
is we're going to saute a little bit of onion, and I think probably half of that onion is enough.
Okay.
And what I do is slice the onion in half and then just do like half moons,
Okay.
thin half moons.
Got it.
And then we take a 1/4 cup of butter and melt that in a little saute pan.
Okay. So about a half an onion here. She's got great knives, by the way. Excellent knives.
Yeah, if you're not careful, you'll cut yourself and need stitches at the hospital.
Is that what you did with this knife?
That's the very one.
Oh boy, thanks. That's why you're giving it to me.
Yep, that's right. Well, there's a no cutting rule that my family put me on, so.
I got it. Is this good enough?
Yeah, that's just fine.
Okay, good.
Then I've just got a 1/4 cup of butter in this pan, and we're just going to melt that. And then we'll
Okay.
saute the onions in there.
Excellent.
And we've got, well, this is a 6-quart, but a nice Dutch oven of water. You want to bring that up to a boil. I turned it down because I didn't want it to come up too fast. And my husband's grandma would always wet the spätzle maker, and I think she thought that it just wouldn't stick. I don't know, but I always do it because that's what she taught me.
Okay.
So it's a little damp.
So then you just leave that sitting over the top like that.
It's got a little,
I
it's got a little
have no idea
hook.
what we're doing here. I have absolutely no idea.
Oh, you want to learn?
Yeah.
It's got a little hook here, and it hooks onto the edge of the pan,
Okay.
so it doesn't go too far.
Oh.
And what you're going to do is you're going to fill this with your dough, and so it's like a little funnel. And then you go back and forth like this, and it gets cut off. And that's how you make the small noodles. There's another kind of spätzle maker that presses it through, and then they're more like spaghetti noodles.
Okay.
And then some people do it by hand, just with a teaspoon.
Oh, really?
But for my family, that would take all day because, I mean, I make a huge batch. They absolutely love this.
Now, my famous question always is, can you freeze this?
Oh, yeah, you could freeze it.
So you can have it
Yeah.
anytime you want?
Anytime.
You can make a big batch?
Yeah,
Okay.
in fact, I'm going to show you how to use the leftovers. And the only thing I don't have out is the Swiss cheese.
That's nice.
All right, so what we're going to do now is the first batch. I usually try to do three batches, so I break it up in about thirds, and that's, I eyeball it, but about, maybe a little more than that. About
Okay.
like that is good.
There's one thing she does eyeball.
Yeah.
It's putting the dough in.
And then all you do is go back and forth like this. And I think you can probably see that the noodles come through and get cut off.
Oh, yeah.
And then they all kind of lump into the bottom.
Right.
And you just keep going until it's all the way through. Otherwise, it's just going to drip. You're going to get your turn.
Okay. Wow.
Now, I just kind of, you don't want it to drip all over your stove, but I just always put it back on here.
I know what spätzle is. Now that I see it,
Yeah?
now I know what it is.
Okay, and then I just kind of loosen it up, and it just starts to come to the top. I let it go, I don't know, 30 seconds or something like that. It doesn't take long, but they're just tiny little noodles.
Yeah. And then what do you do with these noodles?
Well, what I do is I put them in the bottom of the pan, and you don't have to grease it or anything like that. You drain them off and put them in there. Then I put a layer of the sauteed onions and a layer of Swiss cheese. Now, my husband's grandma wouldn't put nearly as much cheese as we do.
Yeah.
But we've kind of adapted the recipe over the years. And she wouldn't put as many onions as this either, but we just like the flavor. What happened is I used to always use the grated Swiss cheese that you could buy or grate my own. And then I was on a trip for a month and came back, and my family had discovered this other way of doing it with the slices, and ever since then we've done it that way.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So all we do now is let it drain off and put it into the pan.
So this is kind of like, in a sense, a German lasagna almost.
Yeah,
Really.
you could say that.
Yeah. And, now could you put, anything else you wanted in, or did
Yeah,
you want to just stick with this recipe?
The regular recipe would be just to do the noodles.
Okay.
But we make the cheese spätzle because that's what we like. And then some people would do it plain and maybe use gravy.
Okay.
Which is really good. And what I do with the leftovers the next day, if there are any, if my kids don't eat them for breakfast, is I fry them up in a pan and put sauerkraut in there. And it's fabulous.
Ooh,
and
sauerkraut.
So I can show you that because I made them yesterday and I fought off the natives and we actually have some left.
Excellent. Having to fight off the natives.
Yes.
That's good. Now I would probably put an Italian red sauce over there.
Well, you could do that.
Me.
No, you could do that. You could do anything you want. So now what we do is...
spatula makers expensive?
I don't know. It was a gift.
I think
I don't think it would be.
They don't look like they would be.
I don't overdo it on the butter on the first layers because I think if you put more butter on the last layers, it kind of drips through.
Oh, okay.
So I just kind of scoop a few
of the
onions out.
Okay.
And then if you want to put 4 pieces of the cheese kind of in a, even over there.
In a perfectly organized way.
It has to be perfect, yeah, otherwise looking for my...
Okay, and then this would be
I salt and pepper it.
number 1.
Right, and then I salt and pepper it.
Okay.
And don't do too much salt and pepper. You can always add it at the table.
That later. Very good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's layer 1.
Right,
so now we go back to boil.
Okay. And I get to try it now?
Oh, yeah.
So you hook that on there.
Yeah.
Got it. And then, wait, what am I moving?
You're going to move this, only this. But you hold this so that you don't lose your pan on your feet.
Okay.
This is all you're moving is this back and forth.
Oh, you use your hand up there. Okay.
It'll come naturally once you get going.
I'm not German at all. I don't have not even a pinch of it in me.
No?
Oh. Not a pinch. Sorry.
I kind of have a few different things, but I do have German.
You have Italian?
No, I have Greek.
Greek?
Mm-hmm. And Hungarian.
Wow. We're from different schools. Italian, French.
I do Greek cooking too, but not as much.
Yeah, I don't know anything. I gotta find a Greek cook for the show. Now I've got my first German cook, really. Okay, that's it.
It's all done?
Is it all done?
Okay, now get out the, that thing.
Oh, this thing. And you move it around.
And yeah,
right?
just gently stir a little bit and let it cook. And I don't let it cook too long.
Oh, what
but you don't want them to be raw. Well, I don't know, they might get chewy or something.
Chewy
but you also don't want them to be raw.
Mushy.
Yeah.
Spaghetti gets mushy.
Right. And I've had that before. I guess the one time it was kind of mushy, I was sort of thinking that maybe I didn't drain it well enough. I think this is a nice tool for the drain. That's probably good.
So is that a good consistency there? Mm-hmm. So you really, that's a very, now I lay this right over the top of the cheese.
That's right. That's all there is to it.
Wow.
It's easy and, I've even made this for company.
Really?
But let it drain off. You don't want to get too much water in there, then it'll just be mushy.
Yeah. Okay. You can criticize me, it's fine.
No, I thought I was instructing.
It's been a long day.
It's probably all day at school and kids are saying that you're criticizing them instead of instructing.
Right, see, so now it's coming out in me now.
Okay.
Cathy is our guidance counselor.
Guidance secretary.
Secretary.
Mm-hmm.
She keeps them all organized.
I would want to be the guidance goddess, but that title's taken up at North Campus.
It is.
So I'll just be the guidance secretary.
Who's got the guidance goddess?
Cathy Middich is the guidance goddess.
Oh.
Everybody knows that.
Well, you could be the guidance goddess secretary.
Okay.
That's not taken.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
I don't think that's taken.
No, but
I
say there's nothing better in life than a good secretary and custodians. I had a custodian come to save my life, and my secretaries have saved my life several times.
Well, I try to be good at it, and I'm proud to be the secretary.
Great, because, All right. I got to get every noodle out, or what?
Well, no, you don't have to be that perfect. You're doing really well.
Okay.
Okay, and then you want to put a few of the onions.
Okay. Put this over here. And little butter again?
Yeah, a little bit.
You save the butter mainly till the...
Yeah, I mostly do because it just kind of drips down then.
Through. Okay.
and a little salt and pepper.
How's that?
Oh, cheese and salt and pepper. It doesn't matter what order you do it, but you just want it, each layer to have.
This looks like it's going to be delicious. Is this what
It
you
is.
guys are having for dinner
Oh, yeah.
tonight?
Oh, yeah.
See?
It's going to be good.
She's killing 2 birds with 1 stone.
Yep, and I've got sauerkraut and I've got red cabbage. You got to kind of spice it up, I mean, color-wise, otherwise
Okay.
everything is kind of a bland color.
Right.
So the red cabbage helps.
But that's on the side.
Yeah, on the side. Sometimes I make carrots. Okay, and we're back to boil, and we're going to do our last. Excuse me, I just need the rubber.
Now, about how many will this is layer 2.
Well, it would probably
How many will it feed?
feed 6 to 8 normal people and 5 Bowers. But other than that, that's really all there is to it. And then leftovers, you fry up with sauerkraut, or another way to do it, which is really great, is scramble some eggs, put it in there with a tomato, and it's, oh, I know it sounds weird, it is so good.
Scramble some eggs, put this in the
And you scrambled
eggs.
up with the eggs, and then you add a tomato, and it is really, really good.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I want to do this.
Yeah, that's good. Still you have leftovers. This is what you do.
Okay.
So this is the leftover, and actually nobody ate it, so I'm very proud of my kids, because they didn't
She had
do
to,
that.
you know,
Oh, yeah.
beat them up.
This is
Don't
only a
stay away.
single recipe.
Okay.
So what you're going to do is melt, I would do half a stick of butter.
Okay, so that's exactly what we just made.
That's exactly what we made, and it's been
Okay.
refrigerated overnight.
Okay.
That's the only difference. And we're going to melt half a stick of butter, and I would use a metal spatula. And just let it come, start to sizzle a little bit, and then you're going to saute this until it's brown,
The butter.
the butter,
Okay.
and then you're going to add sauerkraut. And I always buy the good stuff.
You just add sauerkraut to this.
I buy, you know, a
This
good
is why I
kraut.
do this show, because I learn all these great recipes, and then within the next week, I usually go home and try them myself.
Well,
So
let's see if I can.
it's adding to my repertoire of
Yeah.
food as well.
Well, and I think sometimes you get a little braver once you've seen it. We watch cooking shows here, and then we, you know, a lot of times we try the different things.
Who's your favorite chef? Or
Well-
chefess?
The food tastes best. I think Jada's food tastes the best.
See, now, everybody likes Giada. I don't really like Giada,
Well-
but can you get it? You want me to try?
Yes, please.
Okay, otherwise we can use that old knife.
Bear actually
There you go.
became very interested in cooking once he saw Jada. And I
Yeah.
just can't really figure it out, but
That's exactly kind of why I don't like Giada, because they only like her for one reason.
she's very cute. But you know what? Her recipes are excellent.
Are they?
Yeah, Rachel Ray is so charming and cute, but I don't think her food is all that
No,
great.
she's not really truly a
It's
chef.
supposed to be fast, and
I read her history. She's not
yeah,
that
and
much
then, you know
chef.
what? The 30-minute meals, I can't make in 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's what everybody says.
Yeah, I mean,
I
I
like
guess
that
if I
one.
had somebody preparing everything ahead for me, that would be one thing. Okay, so now we're ready.
Okay.
And
So you take that and you dump it right in there.
yeah, I mean, usually I have it in a, you know, a Ziploc or something.
Right,
but
right.
We'll just do this. And then it's going to
Sizzle and fry.
soften up a little bit. And you don't, oh, excuse me, Nina.
yes, go ahead.
You don't have to worry about cutting into it or anything like that. You know, like you're going to break the little pieces or something. It doesn't matter at all.
Yeah, it totally looks like a white lasagna, is what
Yeah.
it looks like to me.
Yeah, you're right. It's coming together now. And I just turn it so that you can see a little bit of the brown and let the other sides brown. And you kind of have to get under it. But there's enough butter in here that it's not going to stick.
It smells.
Yeah, I know. It, all of a sudden it starts smelling really good.
It's really good.
Now,
That's the butter.
the butter,
That's
there's
good.
also
And-
cheese in there.
Uh-huh.
Now you can start scooping out sauerkraut. I think I'd do half of the
Just
thing.
dump it in there?
Yeah, and I don't go out of my way to get a lot of the liquid in.
Okay.
And then we just kind of work it in.
Whoops. Is that good? Or
Yeah,
more?
that's good.
Yeah.
That's great.
Put a little
Perfect.
more. I like sauerkraut.
Good. Yeah, I do too.
Okay.
I went to college in Indiana, and they used to serve hot dogs, and they didn't have any sauerkraut. I finally asked the cooks if they could put sauerkraut out. So they did, but it was just cold in a bowl.
Really?
They didn't get it. That's okay. They're not from Wisconsin.
So you have Bavarian sauerkraut. You said
Yeah.
a good type? A good
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not expensive. It's just, it's the real thing.
Okay.
You know, I mean, I'm sure there are a lot of good ones, but that's the one I like. So,
Get the Bavarian stuff.
yeah,
All
the
right.
Bavarians know what they're doing. So then you just kind of work it in.
Oh, man, now it
And
really
mix it
smells
together.
good. If you like sauerkraut, this is the dish for you. Mm-hmm. No doubt about it.
And I think the trick with this, serving this as leftover, is not rushing it. Just brown it enough and take your time. And what happens is it's a little bit wet now. It's going to dry up a little bit, and then it's ready.
Okay, that's how you know.
Yeah.
It gets a little fluffier or something?
Yeah, it breaks up a little bit more. Like
Okay.
now it's more together, and then it'll break up a little bit more, and then it's done. And it's close already.
Yeah, but do the Bauers ever have leftovers?
Sometimes I have to make a whole lot of spätzle to have leftovers.
Yeah.
Now that
And is this like another dinner deal, or could you have this for breakfast? Or,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Well, usually it's gone before I get to this stage. I don't particularly want to eat sauerkraut for breakfast, but I mean, I'm not that German.
And I
But
suppose,
I suppose there are some fraus who would do that.
And the people, and you know, especially if you're going to go to work somewhere, and
Yeah,
you
right.
never
You
know
never
what's
know.
gonna
You
happen.
never know. That's true. Thank you for bringing that up,
Yeah,
though.
okay. All right, is that good?
That's
or-
good. Yeah.
Okay.
And I'd say that's about all there is to it.
Really?
Yeah,
All right.
that's all there is to it.
Now, how do you say that word again? We just made
Spätzle.
spetz,
Shh. It's an SH sound. Spätzle.
spätzle.
Yes.
There's an L in there. We just made spätzle. And I'd like to thank Cathy Bauer for joining us on Get Hooked on Cooking. And we'll see you next week with our next special guest. And I even know who it is, but I'm not telling.
It's a secret.
It's a secret. And so have a good evening, and we'll see you next week. Say goodbye.
Goodbye. Auf Wiedersehen. Good.
That's what you should have said.
I should have said.
It's on.